Are you ready to transform your pool into a stunning oasis? At Mainland Pool Service, they're a family-owned business committed to keeping your pool looking pristine all year round. They believe that pool care should be proactive, not reactive, which is why their skilled team handles everything from routine cleaning to complex issues with precision. They prioritize clear communication and personalized solutions to exceed your expectations. Join the Mainland Pool Service family today and experience the difference their expertise and dedication can bring to your relaxation retreat. Contact them now at mainlandpoolservice.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Jeff Dunham, artificial intelligence, his all-new tour.
Jeff Dunham. You're the other white meat.
How can you be so smart on one hand and so stupid on the other? Well, you're half of it.
I realize I could have avoided all this years ago with one simple word. I do not. Silence!
Don't miss a Memphis. Friday, April 10th, FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale Monday, September 29th at jeffdunham.com.
Live from the Bill Ford Tough Studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you never have a day like the day Tony Clark had yesterday. You might not know who he is. At least you might not have known who he was until yesterday. But oh, buddy, he's in it now. He lost his job yesterday after an internal investigation revealed he was the head of the MLB Players Association. It revealed that he was having an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law, his wife's sister. She was probably at the wedding. Woo, buddy. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, in about 25 minutes or so, Chris Vernon is going to join me. He, of course, is the host of the Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He's going to pop in studio. I'll talk all things NBA with him. Verno will be here in the next segment. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back. Do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them fun night last night in college basketball. How awesome is Michigan? Went to Mackey Arena, smacked Purdue around, led by 20, won by 11. The sports top-ranked team is now 25-1. I'll tell you more about Dusty May's Wolverines. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. UCLA coach Mick Cronin went viral twice last night. First for throwing one of his own players out of the game, like he sent him to the locker room right in the middle of the game. That's a new one on me. Then, after the game, he was asked what felt like a, somewhat reasonable question. He was asked by my understanding is young reporter, and he got super awkward and weird with it. We'll play it for you. We'll do that. We'll do it in the third segment. College basketball's only undefeated team remained undefeated last night. Miami, Ohio won again. I'll tell you what it's like to watch the still perfect Red Hawks with the greatest Red Hawk of them all, Wally Zerbiak, because that's what I did last night. We'll celebrate the pride of the MAC. We'll do that a little later on the show. Tiger Woods met with the media in Los Angeles at the Genesis Open, and he did not rule out playing in the Masters in April. That's great news for television executives. I'll tell you what Tiger said. We'll do that in the third segment. And Shia LaBeouf, this guy, he's the actor. You might know. He starred in Transformers. He was in Indiana Jones. He's now been released from jail. That's the update. After getting into a fight during Mardi Gras down in New Orleans. Every time I see this guy, every time I see him, he is either fighting Transformers or getting ready to fight a human or actually fighting another human. He's always like on the edge. I think he needs help or medicine. Maybe both. Maybe both. I'll tell you what he did and where it's at now. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know that we'll eventually do. GP's carry out, we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I want to start with Major League Baseball. And not because pitchers and catchers and everybody else have reported, and we get our first spring training games this Friday. And not because, I don't know if you look, but the Mets currently have the second best odds behind only the Dodgers to win the National League pennant. Obviously, all of that stuff is great, but that's not why we're opening on MLB on February 18th. 2026. The reason we're opening on the MLB on February 18, 2026 is because the executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association, it's a fellow named Tony Clark, he's had to resign his position after an internal investigation revealed that he had an inappropriate relationship with, get ready, his sister-in-law. Oof. Ooh. Let me make sure you got it. Tony Clark just lost his job because of an inappropriate relationship with his sister-in-law. Oh, buddy. Your wife's sister. This is yikes on yikes on yikes on. Big Bat Bennett, it's good to see you on a Wednesday morning.
You too, man.
First question for you. What do you think's worse? I think they're both bad. What do you think's worse? Having your name appear in the Epstein files, or losing your very public job in a very public way because an internal investigation revealed that you were having an inappropriate relationship with the woman who is sisters with the woman you've been married to for decades?
Well,
What's worse?
I would need to know the context of the Epstein files, because there was a lot of people in those files that didn't do anything. They were just like part of email correspondence. Like Joe Rogan was in the Epstein files, but like it's not a big deal because he didn't do nothing.
Okay,
you know
fine. Yeah, I do know what you're saying. You're not
like,
Joe Rogan.
If it's one of those, then I'll take that.
No, you're not Joe Rogan.
It's
you
the
don't
bad
get to be
one.
Joe
Okay,
Rogan.
it's the bad one. I got you.
I know how badly you want to be Joe Rogan.
I do not.
Okay, but you don't.
I do. I like Joe Rogan, but I'm not like an avid listener or anything. I do dabble. Hey, you know what? I do dabble.
We know you like Joe Rogan. Okay. Easiest
What's
guess
wrong
of my
with
life.
That?
Easiest guess. Nothing's wrong with that. I don't guess. Joe Rogan, like who?
He's
Joe
super
Rogan's
popular.
He's the most popular. What are we talking about? He's the most popular. He's like actually the most popular. So I don't even know why anybody's here right now. You should all be listening to Joe Rogan right now. I don't know why you're sitting here. You're like Joe Rogan's out there on the same YouTube. I don't know what you're here. I don't know why you're here.
Damn.
Hey, we know how much you want to be Joe Rogan, okay? But you don't get to be no Joe Rogan in this one.
Okay.
You're Deepak Chopra.
Okay. Then I guess by default I have to take the other scandal.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
I think I have no choice.
Bad as it is, I think that's still the way you got to go. But my God, this is rough, man.
Wait.
You ain't.
Okay, first off, I did not know. This is news to me. I didn't know about this. I haven't seen this story.
Deepak or Tony Clark?
Tony Clark. Okay. Tony Clark. Let me be clear.
They're both bad.
Yeah,
all right?
we don't need to hash that one on here. No. I'm talking about the Tony Clark one.
They're both bad.
Okay.
All right? They're both bad. I think one's worse than the other, but they're both bad. And listen, before we go any further, let me state for the record.
Okay. Yes.
This sucks. All right? This is, in real life, this is not funny. We're on a podcast on YouTube. This is not real life, so we're going to laugh and have a good time.
It's real me, damn it.
And ask stupid questions like, would you rather be in the Epstein files or Tony Clark? All right? We're going to play around. But jokes aside for a second, this sucks. This is awful. You have multiple families in pieces right now, I'm assuming. Children are involved. There are people's lives who were changed yesterday forever, and they will never be the same. And that's never lost on me anytime these types of stories come up. This is like, I don't want to say the ugliest version, but it's got to be up there pretty high. Like, sister-in-law? She was probably at the wedding. I mean, sister-in-law? So this is awful. It's an ugly story that has, I hope not, ruined a lot of people's lives who had nothing to do with this, but I trust it has probably at least messed them up. It's messed them up. So it's not funny in real life. I hope that's clear. But again, this isn't real life. This is a podcast. So let's talk about it. I think I'd still rather be Tony Clark than Deepak Chopra.
Yes.
I think you're right, Bennett.
Yeah, yes.
I think both are bad, clearly. But if forced to choose, I think being in the Epstein files in that way, probably still worse. If you get caught in I did think through this. If you get caught in an inappropriate relationship with your sister-in-law, it doesn't mean you're a criminal or a pedophile. It just means you're, a scumbag probably, right? With like the worst moral code.
That's
right.
That's about as bad as it gets.
It's bad, right? But the Epstein files, if you're in there, like Deepak, I mean, it could mean any number of things.
Yep.
Not necessarily about him specifically. Let me be clear about that. But if you're in the Epstein files, it could mean you're a pedophile. It could mean you're a criminal. It could mean you're an abuser. It could mean all sorts of bad things. So I'm going to say Epstein files still worse than Tony Clark. But man, I don't want to wake up. I don't ever want to wake up. I don't ever want to have that day. Either one of those days.
No, I do not either.
Do you have a sister-in-law?
I do have a sister-in-law, yes.
Okay.
She's the best.
You got any pictures?
I do not. No, not for your consumption. No, I do not. She's great.
I bet she is. That's how it starts. That's how it starts, Bennett. I bet you that's how it starts. Tony Clark. I bet you one day somebody asked Tony Clark, "Yes, a sister-in-law." He was like, "I do," and they were like, "Okay," and he was like, "She's great." That's how it starts. This is how it starts.
You know what? And I love her to death. I don't.
This is how it starts.
No.
This is how it starts.
No.
I didn't even know you had a sister-in-law 1 minute ago, but in the past 60 seconds, you said she's great and you love her to death.
Love her to death.
This is how it starts.
Can't wait to see her. No, stop.
Kara, you stop.
Can't wait to see her this summer. She's the best.
Oh, my God. Can't wait to see her this summer? You sound just like Tony Clark.
Okay.
And you know what's worse about this? Do you know what's worse about this? You sound just like Tony Clark right now. And do you know what's even worse about this? I know exactly two people in this world. Kyra, throw it up. I know exactly two people in this entire world who have a beard like that.
Man, his looks good, too.
You sound like Tony Clark. This is how it starts. I love my sister-in-law. She's great. I can't wait to see her. Now you've lost your job. Look at your beard. Look at his beard.
Okay, first off, I think my sister-in-law would agree with this. And again, she's the best. Love her to death.
Jesus
I think
Christ,
okay, can I talk? My God. Can I say one thing? Jesus. I think she would agree that we probably aren't compatible in that way. So I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide.
Oh,
I agree. The beard thing is concerning. That's concerning.
Kyra, look at this.
But his beard looks way better than mine. I mean, he's trying to impress people with that beard. I'm just living.
That's what Tony Clark used to say, I bet.
Nah, man. Nah, he's getting that thing trimmed daily. He's trying to impress somebody.
Oh, I know who.
I'm just me. He's trying to impress somebody with that beard. I'm just trying to survive.
I know who he's trying to impress. Woo, buddy. Woo, buddy. Can I say another thing real quick? And man, you can say whatever you want. I want to apologize for interrupting you so much, but I was having fun with those beards.
Well,
but you can say whatever you want.
Okay, this is obviously bad and very concerning. Why did he lose his job?
Okay. So there was a whistleblower situation. Basically, I'm giving you the simple version because that's all I know. There's a whistleblower situation. They call into the federal government and say, hey, the Major League Baseball Players Association, they're misusing funds. There's a whole bunch of
okay. So something else started this,
like it always does, right?
Yeah.
But there was a claim of nepotism. So what you find out is the sister-in-law, and this is an important part of the story, because you might not lose your job otherwise.
Right. It's bad, but like whatever. People cheat all the time. Yeah.
You might not lose your job otherwise. But he had hired the sister-in-law to work at the Players Association. So you have a nepotism claim, and then you have, forget inappropriate relationship in any sort of casual term, like, what, your sister-in-law? That's inappropriate. Like legally inappropriate relationship with an employee that you hired, who, oh, by the way, also happens to be your sister-in-law. So they're looking into the misuse of funds stuff, and then there's an internal investigation that launches, and then they uncover this in the process, and now everything's turned upside down.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
That'll do it.
Can't do that.
Do it. Just I am always blown away by people who get, not blown away because it happens all the time, but like you lose your awesome job misusing funds or messing around on a expense report. Like there have been times where I've been out to dinner or whatever, and somebody will say like, "Oh yeah, just GP, you expense that," and I'm like, not only am I not going to lose my job over a dinner, I'm not even going to put myself in a position to be asked a question about a dinner. I don't want these conversations. And so, like, here, take my personal card. I'll cover dinner tonight. I'm not taking this to CBS because I don't even want to be asked about it. I don't want anybody to have a reason to ask me about misusing funds or overspending or anything. And then stuff like this happens. The only reason you got caught having an affair with your sister's wife is because you were allegedly misusing funds and doing other things you weren't supposed to do in your job. I guess it's a story as old as time.
It is. I mean, this one just has the fact that it's the sister-in-law that just adds a whole different level to it.
That is the thing. Like
it does.
You ready for this? I'm being sincere here. If the story was Tony Clark had an affair and so he lost his job, I don't care about that. That's not interesting to me. That happens every day in the world a million times. That's whatever. That's just adults making poor decisions and paying prices for it. What makes this different is the sister-in-law. Because you would like to think, I guess you never know, but you'd like to think that that's just a line you wouldn't cross, right? This ain't you met somebody at the hotel bar and made a poor decision. This ain't like somebody you work with, and made a poor decision. It is your sister-in-law. You'd like to think whoever you are, however scummy you might have been in your life, You'd like to think you wouldn't cross that line, right?
There's a barrier, yeah.
And I think there's an act. Tell me if this makes sense. It's story time. Tell me if this makes sense.
Okay.
So we hosted exchange students, my wife and I.
Yes.
Many years ago. Diana from Germany, Sylvia from Italy, and one of the things that was in anybody, I should say, any family that has the means to do that and is interested in it at all, you should. It's incredible. You are exposed to different cultures, different ways of thinking. It's like you really do bring family members into your family. Like I consider Diana and Sylvia as part of our family. Our sons call them their sisters, just in casual conversations. We keep in touch with them all these years. We've gone over there to see them. They've come over here to see us.
Cool.
We're going to Diana's getting married this summer in Spain. We're going to that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's the best. And so anybody that has the means and the interest to do it, I would advise it. It's wonderful. You can learn from these kids just because they're from a different part of the world. And so one of the things I learned from Diana was that, first off, she was just more mature than any of the other teenagers that I had ever been around or that even she was around. You could just pick up on that type of stuff. She was just operating at a different, more mature level. But then you would just get into all these conversations. And one time, I don't remember the number, and I'm not trying to get cute with it, but she went to South Haven High School. That's how we ended up with her living with us. She came here from Berlin, got placed in South Haven, was out South Haven High School. At the time, my wife was teaching there. Diana was in a not so great situation with the family she was living with. It just wasn't great. It wasn't fun. And so my wife heard about that, was like, can we do this? I was like, sure. Honestly, I was like, sure, it's basketball season. I'm going to be out of town half the week anyway. What do I care? And then it was like, oh, wow, this is great. I'm glad we did this. But my initial was like, yeah, I don't care. I'm busy. But that's how we ended up with her. Anyway, you get to talking to her, and there were multiple pregnant students at the high school. And which is very normal. Like when I was in high school,
same.
There were pregnant students. You ready for this? I think I've told you this. Like I was at my little guy's baseball game a couple of summers ago, and I see somebody I went to high school with, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "So where's your son?" She was like, "My grandson is on this team." So my son played against my classmate's grandson, right? Because she was, I think, a pregnant student, right? This is back to the 90s. This was not abnormal in North Mississippi at all. All right. But Diana, the way she explained it to me, she was like, I've never seen a pregnant teenager, never seen one. I don't mean never had a class with one. I mean, I did not know this was like something. And I was like, so explain it.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America, right? Hey, over here, all we do, we eat a lot and have unprotected sex at a very young age. That's what we do here in America. We get fat and have underage sex. It's wild. So I said, explain it to me. Like, what's going on? You guys don't. And she was like, oh, no. People do. But, and I thought this was interesting. She said, from like second grade on, they have sex education every other year. From like second grade on. So it is just pushed into your head not to not have sex. That's sort of what we do here. We tell people, don't do this, or you're going to hell. Don't do this, it's a sin. And then, they sneak off and do it and get pregnant. That's the way it works. Over there, they're like, they don't start with don't do this because they know you're going to, or at least you probably will. They start with, hey, you're going to do this. Probably. It's great if you don't want to, no pressure. But if you do, let us teach you how to be careful and responsible. So from a very early age, it is just ingrained in them. You do not have unprotected sex. You are careful all the time. And so the point she made to me, and I promise I'm going to be able to circle it back to this. The point she made to me was, because I was like, well, sometimes people slip up. Maybe I was projecting a little bit. You forget, and, you had too many drinks, and you're not as careful as you know. Sometimes people slip up. And she was like, yeah, I guess. But, and this is the point, because we were all taught in Germany from a very young age not to not have sex, but to do it responsibly and safe, it's very difficult to find two people who will both be at the same time so loose with those standards. In other words, even if the guy is like, I can't find one, whatever guys might say in that situation, the girl is probably going to say, well, then no. And even if the girl's like, I don't care, the guy really might be like, well, I do care because that's dangerous and we can't. Somebody will, even if you're both in this situation, if it ain't what it's supposed to be, somebody will stand up and say, no, we can't cross this, as you use the term, barrier. We can't do this under these circumstances. Because, and what I'd like to think, not in every situation like this, but when it's a brother-in-law and a sister-in-law, I'd like to think one of them is like, yo, if you want to hook up with your coworker, that's one thing. It's none of my business. And if you want to hook up with, 11th grade teacher, that ain't none of my business. But I'm your brother-in-law and you're my sister-in-law. We both know this is crazy. You'd like to think one of them would get to that point. And
it's not even like spur of the moment. It's like a well thought out plan with the hiring and like bringing them on board with a new job. That's bad. That's bad.
Ooh, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Is there a road to recovery, or is this just got to be it?
I'm not sure. I don't know, man. This one's pretty scandalous. I'm not sure there's a road to recovery here.
I mean, the sister-in-law thing is like, there's Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yeah.
People get married. People die. You got to gather with your sister-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah.
The girl from the office or the man from the gym, you could never see them again in theory. This one's a little different.
Mm-hmm. Good luck to everyone involved.
Good luck to everybody involved. I think that's a good place to leave it. Chris Vernon's up next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Now that's the new edition way.
I feel like there's another level we can take it to.
What you think, Mike?
2 steps ahead of you, Slick.
What's good, bro?
What you doing, man?
I'm in.
Woman, you don't even know what I'm getting ready to ask you.
Here's the vision. All 3 of us on the same stage every night.
Gonna be crazy.
No barriers, no separation.
It'll be like 9 kings and a queen.
The next level starts now.
Duke is suing their quarterback because Darian Menza announced he was entering the transfer portal last Friday. So Duke said, no, you're not.
I'm all for NIL. I'm all for player freedom to transfer and player empowerment. But just saying, I signed the contract, but the contract doesn't matter. I don't understand how that works.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I risk my life to tell y'all these truths.
Cat Williams is back. Brand new material, a new tour, and the same legendary laughter he's delivered for decades.
Nick Cannon got 136 children, Jesus. Did you know that?
Always classic, always Cat.
White people are friendly. You can call them at 3 o'clock in the morning with the wrong number and they won't even be mad at you. Hello? No, I'm sorry. No Shaquita here.
The Golden Age Tour. March 6th in FedEx Forum. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
The Grizzlies partner with Prime Global Group, a leader in innovative, socially responsible real estate investment. Discover smart strategies that align with your values at primeglobalgroup.net. That's primeglobalgroup.net. It's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back inside the Built Ford Tough studio. And on Wednesdays, in the second segment, I'm joined by Chris Vernon. He's the host of the Chris Vernon Show. Weekdays, noon, Grind City Media. He's here right now. Hey, welcome back from Arizona. It's good to see you. Did you enjoy your time in the desert?
It was amazing. It was great to get away for a couple of days. I love it down there. It's easy to get to, and they got great golf courses, so that was fun. But we're not starting with that. That's not what we're starting with. We're starting with the fact that you're wearing a friggin' beanie today, because it is a terrible day to look like Mick Cronin. Has anybody cussed you out yet? I dare you to go walk around New York City today.
Mick's, what's wrong with him?
It's a terrible day to look like Mick Cronin. Of all the people to look like, go bop around the city today. Start ejecting people. Start berating people. The best. All I could think about when I was seeing those videos come across my timeline last night was you. I loved it.
What would you do if somebody, and I'm going to get to this, we'll spend more time on it and then 5 more things, but what would you do in a press conference if a coach did that to you?
Tap it to me.
Is it the Kelvin Sampson one you tell?
Kelvin Sampson's done it to me. John Calipari's done it to me. Lionel Hollins has done it to me. Hubie Brown has done it to maybe it's me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm surprised that hey, were you in East Lansing last night asking Mick Cronin questions?
It wasn't me. So the Kelvin Sampson one, the reason that one is so fascinating, exactly like last night. It was the first thing I covered. Raheem Lockhart was the star player. Rod Barnes was the coach at Ole Miss. I was working at the radio station, and they told me to go cover the Ole Miss-Oklahoma game. Oklahoma was coached by Kelvin Sampson, and their star guard was a guy named Hollis Price, who was absolutely awesome. And Oklahoma's winning the game, and then Ole Miss goes on a run. Crowd is on top of you. This is back in the Tad Pad days. Crowd's on top of you going crazy, whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, he sent me down here, so I got to ask a question. And so I go in and I ask this question, and I was like, Coach, did you feel like the crowd here affected your young team? That was it. That's all I said. And that dude looked straight at me in front of everybody and goes, I don't know. What do you think? I was like, ouch. I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. I was 21.
Right.
I mean, I've got tears in my eyes driving home. Yeah. I am like, this is not for me. I was so humiliated. So humiliated. And I don't know how many times I've told this, but honestly, the guy, I will always and forever be grateful for a baseball player, which people will not even know. He's not. If you're baseball fans, you'll recognize the name. There was a guy, and I went. The next thing I was like, all right, I'm gonna get back on the saddle. I'm gonna go with my stupid little recorder, and I'm gonna go cover a Redbirds game. I went to the Redbirds game, and there was a guy there who I was a big sports cards collector. And so I collected all this guy's rookie cards because he was supposed to be the next great thing. And he was there playing against the Redbirds. And I went into the locker room to interview him. And he was the absolute nicest, kindest guy to me in the world. And I remember walking out and being like, okay, it's not all like this, right? His name was Travis Lee. Have you ever heard that name before? Travis Lee.
Sure.
He played for the Diamondbacks. He played for a bunch of teams in Major League Baseball. But he was this big, super tall, outstanding first baseman, power hitter, and his name was Travis Lee, and he was super nice to me, and I was like, all right, this is going to be okay. But yeah, Kelvin Sampson like totally humiliated me in front of everyone. Calipari did this to me early, where I asked him about, he was on his whole miserables rant. This is when the team stunk. And I said, have you ever considered that these people aren't just miserable, and these are your fans, and they want you to win, and they're just disappointed, that you're losing. And he says to me, do you think we should win every game? And I was like, no. And he was like, do you think we should win every road game?
I remember this.
And I was like, no. And I was like, do you think I think you should beat, Charlotte and DePaul? Yes. And he was like, oh, God, I thought he was going to kill me. I really did. Like hellfire in his eyes. But, I mean, he did that several times, especially because he would, anytime you criticized him on the radio, he would, make sure he looked right at you and was pointed about that. The NBA ones were all, they weren't nearly as bad. Usually those happened more in private rather than in the press conference. But college guys, yeah, I mean, there's some pretty hardcore dudes. And so he's crazy, but I've been through that before, and I think it's probably, people react in a certain way. Honestly, if Mick Cronin had a great record right now, it would be viewed very differently.
That's right. That's right. It's funny when you're ranked 7th in the country. It looks less funny when you're struggling.
Saban did it all the time.
Right.
Belichick did it all the time. You know what I mean? It's all dependent on how good you are. If you're awesome, you can get away with it. If you're struggling, then you just come off as a... I saw somebody on the internet. I was so jealous of this one. They called him Prick Cronin. I was like, damn, it was right there. It was right there. How did I not? Easy. And then I felt like I couldn't say it then because it was like, I just stole this guy's bit.
Every once in a while, I will see something on Twitter exactly like that. I'm like, that's so good and so obvious. How did that person get it first?
Prick Cronin.
Prick Cronin's very good.
So good.
In all the years, I've had at this point so many like blowouts with John Calipari, particularly when I was the beat writer. Like, we got to a point where we would yell at each other and then just see each other the next day like it didn't happen. Yeah. I used to have a tape of like a 10-minute conversation between he and I where the gist of it was just, no, F you, no, F you, no, you know what, F you. It was like back and forth. It was like bad. I lost it somewhere, or at least I don't know where it is now, but it'd do great. It'd do great on the internet in 2026.
Oh, yeah.
But the first time, I remember this very early on the beat, and it was a moment like last night for that reporter, and I said, that will not happen to me again. But it was a post-game press conference, and they had beaten somebody, and I think it was John Grice. For some reason, John Grice is in my head, and maybe he scored 17 points or something. And so it's just, you're the beat writer, and it's just like John Grice is going to be a part of this little 12-inch story you're writing. And it's like, so John Grice had 17 points tonight. What'd you make of what he was able to give you off the bench or whatever? And he was like, yeah, 17 points. But the thing that really mattered is the way he guarded and the way he switched things. But you're from Memphis, so all you care about is points. But, that's not what made him a good basketball player tonight. But, you're from Memphis, so you just think the points are what's important. And I just sat there, and I didn't say a word. It was just like, next question, we moved on. And like you driving home from Oxford, I didn't have tears in my eyes, but I was like, what just happened? Like, what? And then I went, no matter what happens going forward between you and him or you and anybody in a press conference setting, you are not going to let somebody talk to you like that again. A basketball coach. Because here's the truth. It ain't even about you're going to be tough. I'm not tough. I'm not pretending I'd fight Mick Cronin or John Calipari. I just know there's cameras on us. You ain't doing nothing, so it ain't going any further than we're just talking to each other. And you're not going to talk like that to me on camera without me responding on camera. And I made a promise to myself then. And from that day, I'm not exaggerating. Anytime I've had an argument with a coach, I put 10 toes down. I don't back up. If I'm wrong, I want to be clear. If I'm wrong, I back up. I say, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. You're right. I was misguided. I messed up. I'll do that. I like doing that. I like it when people do that. I think we need more of that probably in the country. But if I'm right, I will not back down to you because you're some famous wealthy basketball coach talking down to me. Like I'll talk right back to you.
And those guys that we're all talking about, and I do think that that's a portion of it where I'm like, I've been around it, and those were a lot of the guys that we covered. And so you hate to be like the old man on the rocking chair, but the same thing that makes them so effective as coaches, and the thing that you would like your kid in many cases to play for them and they can make them better people, is that same thing that they're bullies. They are. Like they're bullies, and they've been bullied. Like you think about so many of the greatest coaches of all time, and that's part of it, right? And that's how they and that is gone because of because of their power is so much lessened now, but there's still a few that are more from that era and more like that's the way you coach, that's the way you talk to people, that's the way you do things. Because it's shocking. Like last night, think about this. The one that's a lot of people are focusing on the press conference, which is just him being goofy and just being mad. After the game and taking it out on somebody that probably didn't deserve it. The throwing the player out in the middle of the game is what is getting the most. And go look at the reactions to that, and you will see virtually zero support. Zero. And that's what has changed. And now, yes, it's rare, and you've never seen it. But if you think about all manner of people, and if they did that in the past, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And now it is. It is a big deal that he publicly humiliated that kid and threw him out, whatever. I mean, coaches have been publicly humiliating people for my whole lifetime. But,
there's John Calipari in HD calling Earl Barron an MF&P.
Yes.
That's a thing that happened. And oh, buddy, if you think that was something, you should have been in the Finch Center with me.
Right.
I heard it all.
No, and so it's one of those things where it's like you see the reaction today, and it's like you can't act like that anymore.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
You really can't act like that anymore. For so many years, it was like the coaches acted this kind of way, and they can't act that way anymore.
The problem for Mick now, and all of these are small problems. They can fire him if they want to, but they'll owe him $20 million. So life ain't so bad.
Well, look at the Tang thing, Gare.
They could try that.
But I'm saying that's not a big deal.
Right.
That press conference was not a big deal.
No, it's not a fireable offense. No chance.
But I'm saying that's what we live in now. And I'm not saying that everybody's a wussy now, but we're getting close.
I will say the problem for Mick is that the UCLA beat writer. So who's going to be following the UCLA beat writer? UCLA fans, right? These are your fans who are going to be seeing this tweet. And he tweets what he tweeted last night about these things. And I went and looked at the replies, and it's UCLA fans. They're done with this. They don't.
Yes.
Yeah, your own fans are, because Nick Saban would pop off at a reporter every once in a while, and you know what would happen? Reporters would say Nick shouldn't do that, and then Alabama fans would say "Shut up, nerd," and they'd back Nick Saban every time.
That was Calipari here.
Yes,
you lived it. If you wrote something critical, they hated you.
Yes.
If I said something critical, they hated me.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And but when the coach is losing, they love you know what I mean? And it's the same way with anybody right now. It's field day. People are real comfortable jumping on Penny right now because it's the popular thing to do.
Right.
The popular thing to do. But if Penny was cracking and Penny was, 25-2, he could get away with nobody would say anything.
Oh, similar, and then we'll move on. As Lane Kiffin is clearly on his way to LSU, and the Ole Miss reporter / podcaster, calls him a hoe, you can get if Lane Kiffin had announced, I'm staying at Ole Miss, and then you call him a hoe, Ole Miss fans kill you. You're you can't even have that job anymore, maybe. It gets very difficult. But once they know he's leaving, then they'll side with you every time, and now you're emboldened to take those positions. And so I guess that's not unique to Memphis or Ole Miss. This is just sports fans in general, right?
Absolutely.
So anyway, we'll get back to Mick Cronin in the next segment. Before I get you out of here, Jason Tatum, I think when he tore that ACL, it was like, okay, Celtics are going to have a lost season. They start unloading this, unloading that. Fast forward to February 18th, they're 35-19, and he's playing 5-on-5. Is he going to come back? And if so, are they going to win the East?
100% he's coming back. The prediction markets, I think, have it at like 80-85%. I know that you didn't have an awareness of what was going on over the weekend with the All-Star coverage. I don't know how this happened, but NBC is like in on this story. They ran like a 4 or 5. Did you see this, Bennett?
Yes, I saw.
It's
Yes,
like
it was like a documentary.
4 or 5 minute documentary on his return, and of course they have flexed in a couple of those like Sunday. I think it's Sunday night games that they're going to have on NBC, and a couple of them are like the Celtics games, and so people are already like tagging. I heard Bill Simmons saying the other day that there is a game. He said, this is Conspiracy Bill. And he goes, but if you go look at tickets for, I want to say it's like, maybe it's Celtics Knicks or Celtics. It's one of these games that's going to become Celtics Magic or something. There's a game that's coming up, supposed to be a national TV game. And he's like, the prices are way out of whack.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so the answer to is he coming back is yes. The answer to are they the favorites? No, because I think we have to see it. I think we have to see him come back. They play differently. Jaylen Brown is now the guy. Does he assimilate into like Robin role when he has been Batman role his whole life? So, I mean, I do think there's things to figure out, right? But certainly in the Eastern Conference, when the best team by a wide margin is a team that hasn't had any playoff success in the Pistons and is going to be going through it for the first time, and then you have the Knicks, who people halfway trust. Sure. I mean, like, you know, you see what they've done without him. When you're adding an all-NBA caliber player into the mix, there will be some assimilation, but they're certainly right. I would put them in that class of, you know what I mean? Because there's not one favorite in that, right? In the same way that, like, if you look at the Western Conference, it's hard to imagine neither OKC or Denver being in the Western Conference Finals. You could foresee circumstances where where Eastern teams, it's a little deeper. Like if Philly or Cleveland or one of those teams were to pull a second round upset, it would not be the craziest thing in the world. Whereas it would be pretty wild, I think, if you looked up and like the Lakers beat the Thunder or something like that. Like, I mean, so they're in the mix. They're certainly part of the 5 teams that have a chance at the Eastern Conference Finals. And once you have a chance at the Eastern Conference Finals, right, you're a series away, and you never know. Last year, the guy tore his Achilles, and that might have changed the course of what took place in the playoffs.
That is Chris Vernon. Chris Vernon Show, weekdays at noon's coming up in about an hour and 12 minutes from the big studio. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. That's Chris Vernon from the Chris Vernon Show. When we come back, turn our attention to college basketball. Michigan went into Mackey Arena last night, smacked Purdue around, led by 20, won by 11. The Wolverines are awesome. 25-1. I'll run you through some other numbers next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Rumored to be one of only 18 in existence. Plated with the very same tungsten that forged the International Space Station. And wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
How are you able to release and have an instrumental song?
And I forget who the disc jockey was, but he put the wrong side on. He put the Green Onions by mistake and played the B side instead of the A side.
No!
And that's when the change happened. These people started to call the station and say, play that song again.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled. And Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Oh, it was a fun night in college basketball last night. Biggest game on the schedule was a top 10 matchup in West Lafayette, Indiana. It was Michigan and Purdue, and the Wolverines do what they do. They beat their brains in badly. Led it by 20, won it by 11. So now they're 25-1 overall, 10-0 in Quadrant 1. The only one-loss power conference team in the country. They're ranked number 1 in the net at KenPom, KPI, Bart Torvik. BPI has them at 2. I don't know what that's about. If I opened a computer and it had anybody other than Michigan at number 1, I'd throw the computer out the window. It's nonsensical. That's the best team in the country. That's the best resume in the country. And it's not just that they're winning games, almost without exception. It's that they're beating everybody badly. They beat San Diego State by 40. That's an NCAA tournament team probably. They beat Gonzaga by 40. That's a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament probably. They beat Villanova by 28. They beat Indiana by 14. They beat Michigan State by 12. They beat UCLA over the weekend by 30. And then they go into Mackey Arena. That's the home arena for the preseason number 1 team in the country. And just like that, they were up 20, and they just cruised to an 11-point victory. So I think everybody, at least in the Memphis market, remembers Dusty May first and foremost because he was the coach at Florida Atlantic in the American Athletic Conference before he went to Michigan. Before that, he took FAU to the Final Four. He had his pick of jobs after that little run at FAU. He could have been the Louisville coach. He could have been the Michigan coach. Whatever job was open, if he wanted it, it was his. And he picked Michigan, and they now have that thing set up. They went into the transfer portal. By the way, this is why you need somebody working on that stuff 7 days a week, 12 months a year, as we talked to Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian about yesterday. They got into the transfer portal quickly, deliberately. They knew who they wanted. They knew how it would fit, and they knew what it would take to get it done. And if you look at Michigan right now, the number 1 team in the country, 25-1 record, doing unprecedented things. You realize this? We've had the AP poll since the 70s. They are the first ranked team to ever win 3 straight games against other ranked teams by at least 30 points in the history of the AP poll. Think about the great Duke teams, the great UNLV teams, Rick Pitino's 96 Kentucky team. People call that the greatest team in modern history. None of them beat 3 straight ranked teams in a season by at least 30 points each. Michigan did that this season. They are operating at an extremely high level, and they're doing it with a roster. Go look at it, the stats. Top 5 scorers. You know who they are? 4 first-year transfers and a high school recruit.
Wow.
It's a brand new team. It's not one of those where, like at Houston, they bring back multiple starters, or at Purdue, they bring back multiple starters. They basically said, we're going to build our – we're bringing some people back, but the stars of our team, they're playing for other people right now. But when this transfer portal opens, we got them. We're bringing them here. We've thought this out. We know how it's going to work. We've imagined it. It makes sense on paper. It makes sense in our computers. We've got the money to do it. Let's go do it. Boom, 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 boom. Now 25-1. All 5 top 5 scorers are first-year players in the program. Dusty May right now, he would be your National Coach of the Year.
Number 2.
Mick Cronin would not be your National Coach of the Year. And we ended up talking about this with Vernon. I didn't plan it that way, but it's fine. But we haven't showed you yet the press conference from last night. First, let me give you the whole thing. So Mick's been popping off basically every week about everything, right? Yep. And he hates the travel. He hates everything. He seems to hate everything in this world, all right?
Okay.
Which is kind of funny when you're winning, but it's not as LOL when you've taken a preseason top 15 team and run it straight into the ground. So that all leads to last night, UCLA at Michigan State. UCLA in the Eastern time zone, so you know Mick's already fired up. In the middle of the game, there's a basketball play, transition, and one of the Michigan State players fouls one of the UCLA players fouls one of the Michigan State players in transition, and then they kind of square off. It's the type of thing you see in basketball all the time, and then nothing happens. If you want to say it was a cheap foul or a reckless foul or a dangerous play, I'll accept that. But it was something we see all the time in basketball. It wasn't unusual. It might have been dangerous or reckless, but it wasn't unusual. Anyway, the player gets summoned to the bench by Mick Cronin, middle of the game, on the road, Breslin Center, and Mick says, go to the locker room. You're out. He basically ejects his own player from the game. Okay? So that happens. Weird, but whatever. And then
it was weird, yeah.
Definitely weird. And
I didn't even think it was that egregious. It was bad, but, like, come on.
I didn't like the idea of him publicly embarrassing one of his players in that way.
No, I mean the play. Like, the play was just like, you see that all the time.
All the time, yeah, it was very normal. That's what I said. It's not unusual. It might have been reckless, but it's not unusual. And it certainly never calls for that kind of reaction. Maybe the other team's coach will be like, get him out of here, but you never see the own coach say, you get out of here. And I didn't like that, if I'm being honest. I laughed about it when I saw it because it was kind of funny, but I was like, if that were my son, we're out of there tomorrow. I mean, I would let cooler heads prevail and all that stuff, but my instincts would be like, you're not going to embarrass my son like that. My son's getting up at 6 a.m. every morning to try to win basketball games so that you can make $5 million a year. You're not going to publicly embarrass him. I don't defend the play. Talk to him. Bench him. But to make him go viral no, that's not okay. So if I'm being completely honest, I saw the clip last night, and my initial reaction was I laughed. But as it sat with me a little bit, that's not okay. It's not okay to publicly embarrass people like that. I know we see it all the time in our country. At the tip top, I got it. But it's not okay. Just because it's been normalized does not make it right. It's wrong. I wouldn't want my sons publicly embarrassing somebody like that, and I wouldn't want somebody publicly embarrassing my sons like that. And I know I'm not perfect. I'm never preaching to you. I hope you know that. I'm just talking. I'm not perfect, but I wouldn't publicly embarrass somebody like that, I don't think. So then we get to the postgame. And sort of one of the subplots of this matchup is that because of the way the transfer portal works now, everybody just changing campuses one after another. So there's a young man named Xavier Booker who started his career at Michigan State, like 5-star guy. It didn't go so well at Michigan State, so he transferred. And now he plays for UCLA. So he was coming back after leaving Michigan State, He's now a Bruin, and he's coming back to the Breslin Center.
Yep.
And so in advance of that, Tom Izzo was asked about how he wants or expects the students to treat Xavier Booker when he comes back as a member of another program. And Tom went out of his way to say, I'm paraphrasing here, but I would like it if they would not boo him, not heckle him. He's a basketball player who changed schools like basketball players do these days. If anything, the Xavier Booker story is one that I feel bad about. Like, I feel like I didn't do my job. He was a 5-star prospect, and, you know, he felt like he needed to leave here, and, you know, we didn't accomplish everything we wanted to accomplish together, and I take responsibility for that. I should have done a better job developing him. But if the question is, what do you want him to feel when he's back here? I want him to feel loved. I want him to feel like he mattered here. I still keep in touch with that young man. Like, I don't hate him. I'm not mad at him. This is the sport we work in now. So I want him to you don't have to cheer him, but it would bother me as the coach of Michigan State if that young man didn't feel loved when he came back here. So the students last night at the Breslin Center were chanting, Xavier Booker, Xavier. They were like chanting for the other team's player. All right. It was kind of a sweet thing in a world where everybody's mean to each other. These were people being sweet. I'll take that. So after the game, Mick is asked about that, the UCLA coach. Hey, Coach Cronin, what'd you think about how the Michigan State students treated your player? And Kyra, if you got it, this is how Mick reacted to that.
What was your thoughts in the student section chanting Booker's name?
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
I just meant the overall the way that you
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
Did you like
you should take it.
The preparation of the...
You really think I care about the other team?
No, I don't think you care about the other
team. Are you
team.
raising your voice at me?
No, I'm just
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Come on, dude.
I'm not raising
Come on. Yes, you are. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
The preparation.
Okay. So the worst thing for Mick there is that there are cameras. Like, he'd have been better off if there weren't cameras, because then you can just tell your story forever. And then this reporter raised his voice at me, right? If there's no cameras, now it's just your version of what happened against my version of what happened, right? And this is an everyday thing. I bet you have this in your own life, whether it's with a brother or a sister or a mom or a dad or a husband or a wife. You're both talking about the exact same thing, and you can't come to an agreement about what it actually was. Like, well, I said this. No, you didn't say that. Yes, I did say. No, you didn't say that. Yes, now but unless there's cameras, we just go stay in the spot until one of us walks away, right? So Mick would have been better off with no cameras, because then he could just say, and then this reporter asked me a stupid question, and when I said, hey, man, that's a dumb question, then he raised his voice at me, and I was like, hey, are you raising your voice at me? And that sounds like a totally reasonable story. Problem is, there were cameras. We all watched it. You tell me. You think that reporter was out of line, raised his voice? You tell me, Ben.
No, he was like defending his question and like what? Like it wasn't. He was not raising his voice. Sure, his tone shifted.
His tone shifted, but not in a raise your voice kind of way. It shifted into if you're telling me I just did something that I know I didn't do kind of way. It was that kind of shift. Like, hey, why did you just throw that Dr. Pepper bottle on the ground? And you're like, what? And you're like, I didn't throw a Dr. Pepper bottle on the ground. Yes, you did. I just saw you. You're like, no, I didn't throw a Dr. Pepper. What are you talking? That's his voice shifted in that way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't in a raise your voice, I'm trying to be combative way. And so, Mick, that was just weird and wrong.
That was uncomfortable. Yeah.
Uncomfortable. And you're using your position of power to just bully somebody who's there doing a job for way less money than you're there doing your job, and also probably doing their job better than you're doing your job.
It was also
you're the one that just lost by $1 million.
It was also kind of a layup question. Like, it's not, he wasn't like pressing him or anything.
Ask me the question. Let me show you how you handle it. Even after you're frustrated because you just lost again on the road in the Eastern time zone, ask me the same question. I'll try to handle it.
Coach, what'd you think of how the student section cheered for what was the name again?
Xavier Booker.
I wouldn't say that in the question. How did you think about the student section cheering for Xavier Booker?
I'll be honest with you. I was out there in a fight, getting my brains beat in by Jeremy Fears at Michigan State. So I don't even know if I processed it, but like that's sweet. You know, that's maybe there's a lesson in there for all of us. We live in a time where college basketball players are bouncing around the country, and you guys know how I feel about it. I liked it the way it was more than I like it the way it is, but Xavier's a great young man. I'm glad he's in our program, and I would just tell you they did a wonderful job with him while he was here, and I know he enjoyed his time here, and so for him to feel loved and appreciated when he made his return, that's a sweet moment in an otherwise bad night for us.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks.
It didn't seem hard. That was just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Maybe I rambled a little bit. Maybe I could have cut that down by about 10 or 15 seconds. But that's the story of my life. That's the story of my life. So maybe I could have cut it down 10 or 15 seconds. But that's off the top of my head, and it didn't seem that difficult.
It's pretty good. By the way, you mentioned that this is one of the things that he's mad about. I was just kind of like, because I was curious, because I knew that none of these teams were like making a lot of noise, and it goes both ways with the travel, but I did notice that like all of the West Coast teams that joined the Big Ten aren't doing great in basketball right now.
No, they're not. They are traveling east and losing a lot. This is just the byproduct of conference realignment. You get these jumbo conferences filled with the best brands in the sport. Like, you can't be in the Big Ten unless the Big Ten thinks you're one of the best brands in the sport, other than Rutgers. They messed up on Rutgers. They just miscalculated that completely. I don't know how they got tricked into thinking Rutgers matters in New York City, but they were like, and with Rutgers, you get the New York market. Buddy, I am in New York City every week. I ain't never.
You ain't seen a Rutgers shirt?
Nothing.
Okay.
I ain't never. Nobody's ever talked to me about Rutgers on 54th. So they miscalculated that one. But outside of that, you can't be in the Big Ten unless you are one of the biggest brands in college athletics. That's how you get there. They invited you because they wanted to collect as many big brands as they could, in competition with the SEC. But here's the problem. You take 18 of the biggest brands in the sport. We've talked about this. You know what has to happen by definition? Somebody's got to finish 18th in a league. It used to be impossible to finish 18th in a league.
Mm-hmm.
The leagues weren't that big. Used to be like, oh, no, we're going to finish last. You know what last was? Eighth. Eighth was last. In a good league, eighth might have been last. Now in a good league, eighth has you safely in the NCAA tournament field. But you might finish 18th. So you get 18 schools that are investing like crazy, paying coaches millions of dollars, building facilities, spending millions on rosters, but somebody has to finish 18th.
Yep.
And somebody else has to finish 17th. And somebody else has to finish 16th. And when we look back on all of this, you know what they're going to say in the documentaries. I'll probably be gone by then, but somebody's going to sit down in front of a microphone and they're going to talk about this time of conference realignment. You know what they're going to say? Yeah, I understood why they were doing it in real time. They were all chasing money because players suddenly cost money, and, facilities are, those don't get any cheaper. I don't know if you've seen the price of eggs lately, but they were all chasing money. We got that. But they got all the money, but they weren't happy because, by definition, when you get into a tougher conference with more good teams, you're going to win less frequently than you used to win. Just by definition, you're probably, unless you're like the best of the best, you're probably going to win less frequently than you used to win. I've been a sports fan my whole life. You know what makes sports fans feel great? It's not budgets. It's not how many associate athletic directors you can afford to employ. It's not how much money you have to spend on a roster. It's not how great your practice facility looks. It's not how awesome the private plane is. You know what makes fans happy? Winning. You know what makes fans miserable? Losing. But you get these jumbo leagues. Somebody's got to lose. UCLA and Michigan State, two of the biggest brands in college basketball history. Now they're in the same conference, and they both played each other on Tuesday night. Somebody's got to lose that game. In a different time, Michigan State's in a weaker Big Ten. UCLA's in a weaker Pac-12. They're both probably playing inferior teams last night, and they both win, and everybody's happy on a Tuesday. As it is, now you're in a jumbo Big Ten. Everybody's expected to win, but everybody can't. And so now you got miserable fan bases, and I guess in the case of Mick Cronin, a a miserable coach too.
Number 3.
But Miami, Ohio's cooking. Miami,
Yeah, man.
Ohio
How about that
continues to
story?
cook. It's a great story. They are still undefeated, only team in Division I men's basketball. It's February 18th. As I've said many times at this point, if you still have a 0 in the loss column on February 18th as a Division I men's basketball program, you're good. You're good. It doesn't necessarily mean you're one of the 5 best teams, 10 best teams, even 20 or 30 best teams, because Miami, Ohio's schedule isn't the toughest. But you can't be undefeated on February 18th and not be good. So I have them ranked in the top 25 and 1. They would be lower than where I have them in most brackets. But it's been fun sort of watching the story unfold because, as you know, I work every week with the most famous Miami, Ohio Red Hawk of all time, Wally Zerbiak. So, like, every Tuesday night, unless he's on a Knicks game, like, we're in studio together. And we'll be in studio again together tonight. And he's become, like, sort of the mascot of this thing. It'd be like if I don't know, Tennessee was undefeated on February 18th and having a historically unprecedented season for the school, and suddenly, you know, everywhere you looked, Chris Lofton was on TV and celebrating every Vols win or something like that. Although clearly, like, Wally means more to Miami, Ohio than Chris Lofton means to Tennessee. You get the point. He's the most famous basketball player in the school's history who is responsible for the best times in the school's history. And now he's on TV as a pretty famous person, sort of, you know, living this out in real time, like making videos for the players. And they flew him to campus like last weekend. He was on campus last week. And so I was talking to him, I'm like, yo, you're going to be, like, if this thing continues, eventually, like, Jimmy Fallon's going to want you to pop in studio just to talk about the Red Hawks during March Madness. So, like, all of this stuff is like, unusual, but also fun. Travis Steele's the coach there. He was previously at Xavier, didn't go well, got the Miami, Ohio job, and now he's got a team that we'll see how far it can go in the bracket. Like, they are a mid-major team, and to be clear, if they played the Big Ten or the SEC, they would not have this record. They might not even be in the top half of either one of those leagues. But they don't play in that league. They play in the MAC. They're undefeated. It's a great story. It should be celebrated accordingly.
Number 4.
Tiger Woods. Oh, is he teasing us or is he telling us the truth?
What's going on?
Well, he met with the media yesterday in Los Angeles. Genesis Open. He is the host for that event. So he meets with the media, and he's talking about his recovery from his 1 billionth surgery, and he explained how difficult everything's been. And then somebody asked a totally reasonable question. I don't know if Mick Cronin would have liked it, but it seemed like a reasonable question to me. They said, so is the Masters, you know, it's coming up, it's in April. So is the Masters off the table for you? And he said, no. That's all he did. Is the Masters off the table for you? No.
When's
Sounds like he's going to try it.
When is it again?
Weekend after the Final Four. This is
That's
why
right.
when you hear people talk about you should move the college basketball season up or move it back or move it. Like, you know why that thing won't move?
Because it leads into the Masters.
Because it is the most important thing to CBS.
Yeah.
The Army-Navy football game, the Final Four coming the weekend before the Masters, those are like, I shouldn't speak out of turn, but like those are very important things that they prioritize. And so, yeah, we'll have the Final Four in Indianapolis, and then we'll have the Masters down in Augusta. And Tiger Woods is at least leaving open the possibility.
That would be so awesome.
It
doesn't even matter what he does, just if he's there, like, participating.
It's just like we'll all wake up on Thursday and be like, Tigers at Augusta. Let's watch it. And maybe we'll watch it and get real sad real quick because we'll go. Because I do, like, I watched the press conference yesterday, and, you know, the first thing I think when I see him, and it's not him walking or limping. It's just like, there's Tiger Woods. That's his face. You know, the first thing I think.
He's gotten old.
He looks old.
Yeah.
He looks, and like, look at me. I'm old too, right? We're all, you know, but like, he looks old. He looks like an old man, and he moves like an old man. And it is hard to compete with the best in the world under those circumstances. I think we all understand that himself as well. But golf is this weird game, man, where you can find it for a day or 2 days, or hopefully 4. Like, this is crazy in any other sport, unless there's something I'm not thinking of. But, like, for all intents and purposes, Tiger Woods is done as a competitive golfer with people under the age of 50. Like, he also suggested yesterday he might try the Champions Tour because you can write a card on that one, which would be awesome. Suddenly the Champions Tour, like, would be doing PGA Tour ratings. Like, there would be a scenario where the PGA Tour is opposite the Champions Tour on a weekend, and the PGA Tour's got whatever it's got going on, but Tiger is leading the Champions Tour, and we're all watching the Champions Tour.
That's true.
Okay, so it would be amazing for that. But golf is weird in that if you're a basketball player and it's been clear for years you can't play anymore, and you've had 7 surgeries on this and another 9 on that, like, the idea of ever trying to guard Giannis again, like, that's just, it's over. You can't, it's
right.
The idea of ever, like, you know, put me back out, give me a year to rehab, and then I'll go try to guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. No, it's done. It's time to retire. Go play golf. But in golf, like, anybody who plays even a little bit will tell you there are just days where it works and there are days where it doesn't. And there's more days where it doesn't, unless you're good. But, like, for somebody of Tiger Woods' skill, even in a limited body, there is a scenario where he could find it for a hole. And if you can find it for a hole, you can find it for 2. And if you can do that, maybe 18. That's a round. If you can do 1 round, maybe you can get 2. Could Tiger Woods play a full PGA Tour schedule and finish in the top 50 in the world right now? No chance. I'd bet against it all day long. But could he have 2 good rounds? Yeah, because that's what golf is. That's how golf works. That's how Phil Mickelson won on the PGA Tour a major championship as he was approaching 50. You could play that tournament 100 times. He'd never win it again. But he just, in that moment, he found it. For that weekend, he had it. You get a couple of nice bounces, little luck, roll in some putts. Now you just put up a 65. Whoa. I don't hit it like I used to hit it. Not as sharp as I used to be. But I found some fairways. I made some putts. I just signed a 65. Let's go see if we can do it tomorrow. So that's the reason Tiger is trying to do this. Because what he knows, I'm certain, is he has the exemption. You know, it's not like they're going to throw you in jail if you play poorly. And what if it didn't go poorly? What if you captured something like you did, you know, the last time you did? Mm-hmm. So you work like crazy to put yourself in a position, and then it will probably go poorly. Let's be honest. If he plays, it probably won't look great, but we'll all watch it and be rooting for it. And he gave us a little bit of hope in that press conference yesterday.
Number 5.
Shia LaBeouf. He's a mess.
Is it LaBeouf or LaBeouf? I think it's LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf?
I think it's LaBeouf.
Okay, I'm going to take your word for it. You're the one that owns...
It's LaBeouf. I do own some of his films, yes.
I knew you did. Mm-hmm. I assumed you did. So we're going to call this fella Shia LaBeouf. Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So he was in Transformers. He was in Indiana Jones, but...
He was in one Indiana Jones movie. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Underrated. He was really good in it. Then they killed him off in the next movie.
Well, I think maybe you're starting to see why.
Yeah.
Maybe you're starting to see why. Anyway, he's 39 years old. He was married to that young woman you like, Mia Goth.
Yes. They have a child together, yes.
Well, that's sad. So, anyway, he's been living down in New Orleans, apparently. Mardi Gras and all that. And he was down there, I guess, a couple nights ago. And this was on TMZ yesterday. Apparently gets into a argument, fight. He's the initiator, according to the reports and the allegations. And then he gets beat down pretty good. It's one of those deals like, all right, buddy, you're popping off. And
he took an L, yeah.
We know you're famous, and we know you're drunk, but if you say one more thing, you're going to get handled. And there's some video of him in the streets talking to some guy, then he headbutts some guy. And next thing you see, he's on the ground trying not to get punched again in the head. Next thing you see, he's in an ambulance. He's treated for injuries. And then they take him to jail. He's, arrested, charged with battery and by most accounts, if not all accounts, he started this and wouldn't stop this, and he was completely out of control. And I swear to you, every time I hear anything about this guy, he is either drunk and about to fight somebody, drunk and looking like he's about to fight somebody, or drunk and actually fighting somebody. But he is always on edge. And then, just to update you on the story where we're at right now, according to People this morning, people.com.
What's going on?
He went back to Mardi Gras last night, was on the streets of New Orleans last night, like he's on TMZ all day long. And then he's back in the streets of New Orleans last night, dancing at Mardi Gras with his jail release papers in his mouth.
Well, I mean, it's a multi-day event.
It is a multi-day event.
Yeah.
It is a multi-day event. Friends of his are now telling Yahoo.com that he's been on a self-destructive path since his split from Mia Goth.
You think?
It looks like it. Since his split from Mia Goth. They've been split now quietly for about a year. So this is one of those things where this happens, and then people are like, God, I hope he is okay. And then you call me, and she's like, yeah, we've been not together for a while. He's a maniac, all right? So they think he's been on a self-destructive path, and, I mean, I'm in no position to argue at this point. It certainly looks like self-destructive to me. Do you know people like this? Do you know people who just cannot go out, have a drink, and it just be cool?
Yes.
Like
I do.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. And I just do not understand it. I don't understand it. I got all my own flaws. I never want to sit here and talk because sometimes as I'm talking about these things, it at least in my head, I perceive it possibly coming off like, and I would never do anything that these people do. Like, I do awful things all the time. Like, I raise my voice when I shouldn't. I get frustrated when I shouldn't. I'm not perfect. I don't even know if I'm good sometimes, if I'm being honest. But one of the things I am good at is being in public, consuming alcohol, and or like whatever. I'm very good at being in public, being not completely sober, and just keeping to myself. I just keep it to myself. I'm not trying to hit on you. I'm not trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to ask you who your favorite baseball team is if you're sitting at the bar. I'm just very good, like excellent. If you don't mind me claiming to be excellent, it's this one thing in life. I think I'm excellent at being in public, restaurants, bars, in the streets, wherever. I'm excellent at being in public and just totally keeping to myself. I promise you, if you don't bother me, I will not bother you.
It's a pretty good trait. I'm this. Well, I like, and we know it affects different people different ways, but like,
of course,
I'm typically like laughing and having fun and blasting music when I'm drinking. But some people, and clearly he ain't that.
Like the other night, like Monday, I flew here. And I was just like, I don't want to sit in the hotel room tonight. I just don't want to sit in the hotel room tonight. And it's not like I'm doing anything wild. It's just like I'm going to get to the hotel room eventually, but I'm going to have dinner. Like sometimes I'll just go to a street truck and grab dinner and bring it up to the room and eat it and watch Big Monday. Like it's, you know, and I was just like, I don't want to eat dinner in a hotel room. That was like my starting point. I'm not eating dinner in a hotel room tonight. So there's this new little restaurant that opened up right around the corner that I noticed from my hotel. So I said, it looked nice from the street. I said, I'll go try that. And so I grabbed my computer bag and I sat down at the bar and I pulled my computer out and the bartender came over and the place was mostly empty, kind of busy, but not really. Perfectly normal type of situation where you could pull your computer out at the bar and nobody blinks, not bothering anybody. And, so the bartender came over and he was like, hey, can I get you something? And I said, yeah, I'll have this drink. And he's like, you need a menu? I was like, yeah, I'll take a menu. And that was the end of that conversation. And then at some point, some woman came and she sat right here for a minute. And she walked up and she said, excuse me, is anybody sitting here? And I said, no. And so she sat down. And that was the end of that conversation. And then the bartender came back over at some point and he asked me if I was ready to order. And I said, yes. And so I told him what I wanted, and that was the end of that conversation. And then I ate my food, and then I grabbed my computer, and I came right back up to the hotel room, and that was the end of the night. And I just have no idea why, whether it's Mark Sanchez or Shia LaBeouf, why that's such a challenging thing for them. Like, I have a hard time understanding why people can't just go to a place where other people are at. You drink, they'll drink. Let's just keep to ourselves. And then let's just go home without incident. Like I do it all the time. I'm very good at that. I'm terrible at other things, but I'm good at that.
Yeah.
And this fella here, he seems awful at it.
Man, I was talking to CJ and Jess about this before the show because they talked about it on their show. And these child actors, man, like it is, dude. So my kid wants to do theater this summer. Is like one of his summer camps. And we went to the Orpheum last night, went to the Sound of Music and had a blast. And he's like really into that. Okay. And so like in my head, I kind of like get the like gears going like, oh man, like let's get him into this. And maybe he can become like a child actor and get rich and famous. Like that'd be awesome. And then I thought about it and I was like, it always turns out bad. Like it's always bad across the board.
It's not
It's
always,
not across the board. It's not.
But it is usually like whether you're talking about Shia LaBeouf, Justin Bieber, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, go back to the 80s, Drew Barrymore. It has been very difficult for people to become famous at a young age and then try to navigate that world. It's hard. Honestly, like one of the ones who's done it better than most is Justin Timberlake. He's done it better than most. Not perfect, but he's done it better. He's handled fame and fortune at a young age better than most. Like compare his stories to the Justin Bieber stories, and he's handled it better than most. But it's hard. I mean, here's how you know it's hard. Because it happens to most of them. They end up struggling. Some of them pull out of it. Others don't pull out of it. They struggle until they die of a drug overdose, die of suicide, or they just struggle until something else happens. Some pull out, some don't. But undeniably, I know you all like to think, wouldn't it be awesome to be a famous and wealthy teenager? In theory, it would be if you could handle it. But most people cannot handle it. So you're probably better off just skipping the whole thing. That's not to suggest like if I was approached by Disney and they said, hey, we really saw Louis on Instagram and love him and we'd like to make him the star of a show. I mean, we'd be right there and doing it. Call me a hypocrite. But I would know in the back of my head, like these things don't usually go brilliantly. You get fame, you get the money, that part, that's coming. But the other stuff that comes with it, can you handle it? Or will it make you crazy? And it makes a lot of people. It can create challenges that you couldn't possibly anticipate until you're in the middle of it. And when you're in the middle of it, you probably don't even know how you got there. I've had a theory on this. Can I share it with you?
Sure.
When people ask me, so what's wrong with John Morant? What's going on with John Morant? You know what? Something I've said for years. Don't think of him as a basketball player. Think of him as somebody who got very famous and very wealthy at a very early age out of nowhere. Like a childhood star. We're talking about it right now, how so many people who get super famous and super wealthy out of nowhere very quickly. We just ran through a whole list of people who that is hard for. So why wouldn't it be hard for him? I'm not excusing anything. I'm just trying to explain it to you. I've always thought it's got more to do with that than, well, what is he doing? It's just you get a lot of fame and a lot of money dumped on you out of nowhere and you weren't prepared for it. It can be hard. Now, it's probably problems we'd all like to have. Like, I'd love to have a $200 million contract or whatever, right? But it can be hard.
Yeah.
And
I saw Ben Affleck, like there was like a clip of him on a podcast making the rounds. I think he was on Theo Von, and he basically said, people always say, I want to be rich and famous. I want to be rich and famous. And he goes, take rich He was like, you want to be rich. He was like, you don't necessarily want to be famous. He was like that. Then you lose control of your life. He was like, you should just take rich. That's good. He was like, being rich is great. He was like, being famous, I could take it or leave it.
Well, it's interesting because we live in a world, perhaps now more than ever, where people yearn to be famous. The wealth typically comes with that. But we live in a world where people want to be famous. And because there's so many ways to get there now, and you can do it like straight from your phone, from the middle of Ohio, like that's the Paul brothers story. They're just two brothers growing up in Ohio, and now they're two of the most famous entertainers in the world. They just did things to make themselves famous. They didn't have a unique skill. Like, oh, this person can really sing. This person can really dance. This person can really act. They just could really create the type of content that attracted people, and now here they are. I won't pretend to understand it. I don't even think I'm supposed to be able to understand it. But I know it's a thing. And so now you got every 14-year-old in the country begging for a YouTube account, asking for an iPhone, learning how to edit videos so that maybe they can be the next rich and famous person out of nowhere. And so that's the country we live in. And yet, if you ever talk to the rich and famous people, you know what they tell you? They tell you it's not great. Now, there's somebody out there struggling just to pay a MLG&W bill, so I know they don't want to hear rich people complaining about how hard their life is, right? It's better to have money than it is to not have money. I'll never listen to that from anybody, Ben Affleck included. Like, until you ever looked into a checking account and had 17 cents, don't talk to me about how being rich is the worst thing in the world. Being rich is awesome. But the fame part, people tend to struggle with that. And most famous people tell us it's not fun, it's not enjoyable, it overwhelms you, and it gets to you, and it can make you crazy. We've seen people we thought were very normal go crazy, like lose their minds because of fame. And when that fame comes to you at a young age, it can be even more difficult to navigate. So, yeah, we'll get our jokes off about this guy and whatever, but once we laugh about it, that's a 39-year-old man with a kid. And it sounds like his life's in yuck. Like it sounds like his life's falling apart. And I promise you, this ain't the way he wants to be. You ever see people like this? I know he's acting all fun, running around with jail release papers in his mouth at Mardi Gras on the streets, laughing and drinking and having a good time. I know he looks like he's living it up. I bet you he's miserable. I bet you that's the most miserable dude on the planet. Because, I don't know. I guess I can't imagine how you wouldn't be. Be back with Carry Out.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. Journey. Tickets are on sale now at journeymusic.com. Your chance to say goodbye to the songs that changed our lives. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Hey Grind City, got uninvited house guests? When it comes to bugs, we don't bluff. We Terminex it. Don't let a pest problem spin out of control. Our pest-free 365 Plus plan protects against up to 39 different kinds of pests. Even better, Grizz fans can take $50 off by visiting Terminex.com and enter code SAVE50. Terms apply. With more than 95 years of experience squashing pest issues big and small, we're set to square off against the toughest bugs out there. Own the 2025-26 Grizzlies season with the 10-game Flex Pack, the ultimate way to catch all the action on your terms. Choose your favorite matchups from intense rivalries to weekend thrillers and customize your pack to fit your schedule. With 10 games to pick, you'll never miss the moments that matter most. Visit Grizzlies.com/packs today to build your perfect ticket pack and cheer on the Grizzlies your way. It's your team, your season, and your schedule. So don't miss out.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Hey, Bennett.
What's going on?
Are they treating Kenneth Walker III incorrectly up in Seattle?
I think they just treat running backs incorrectly in the NFL, maybe. I think that might be the larger issue. But, I mean, he did win MVP, dude.
He was the MVP of the Bad Bunny Bowl.
I think you got to reward that.
Wouldn't you think?
I think you deserve to get rewarded for that, yes.
I mean, you're MVP of the Bad Bunny Bowl, and they're like, hey, thank you. I mean, I was so happy for him.
Yep.
And then it was like, where are you going now? He's like, I'm going to Disneyland. Then he went to Disneyland.
They had a big parade for him.
And now look. Oh, how quickly they forget. How quickly they move on. It's a rough business, huh?
Yep.
Hey, if I know one thing about Kenneth Walker III, though, and I really only know like one or two things about Kenneth Walker III, but if I know one thing about Kenneth Walker III, it's that he's going to land on his feet, and then he's going to use those feet to gain yards, and Seattle will rue the day. Do you think Seattle's going to rue the day?
I don't know, man. They got a pretty damn good team. But I'll say yes, because I support Kenneth Walker III.
I support Kenneth Walker III as well. So let's, for the sake of the conversation, for our peace of mind, let's support him. The third version of the Kenneth Walkers. There's two other Kenneth Walkers before him, at least, right? So let's support the third version of Kenneth Walker, and insist that Seattle will rue the day.
What's today's biggest game?
College basketball. We got an SEC showdown. It's going to happen down in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
Number 20 Arkansas at number 25 Alabama inside Coleman Coliseum. Alabama minus 4.5. Totals 184.5. How you going to act?
Give me the Hogs.
Oh, you're going to call the Hogs on the road?
Yeah, we're going to have a tight game. It's going to come down to the final possession.
If you're looking for possible future Grizzlies on Arkansas, you got Darius Acuff Jr. At Alabama, LeBaron Philon, both of them projected as top 20 picks. Acuff probably goes higher than Philon, but they should both be in action tonight. It's a 6 o'clock tip on ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
So I think I told you last week that Cat Williams, who has strong connections to the area, had dropped a new stand-up special on Netflix, like an hour. And I think I told you, I think it was last Thursday. I said, Bennett, you know what? I'm going to watch this. I said, I'm going to download. I think I downloaded it during the show. I think I showed you my phone. I think I was like, I'm going to download this on the air. And then I said, I'm going to watch it on my plane. I did not watch it on the plane. I got sidetracked. But when I got home, we watched the Olympics. That's the night I fell in love with the Olympics. If you ever ask me, when's the night you fell in love with the Olympics, it'll be last Thursday night. So we watched the Olympics, and then that was over. And I was like, all right, now what? And I said, hey, Cat Williams has got a new special. You want to watch the Cat Williams special? And she said, can we watch it in bed? I'm sleepy. I said, sure, we can watch it in bed. So we watched the new Cat Williams special, and 2 thumbs up. I thought it was great.
Good.
Like, I don't know that it's going to win a Golden Globe or anything like that, but in terms of, hey, you want to watch a guy talk for an hour and laugh every once in a while? I dig it. You look unenthused about Cat Williams. You don't like Cat Williams?
I love Cat Williams. He's great. I think he's hilarious.
You look just like Tony Clark. I know 2 people with that beard, and one of them has lost his job for sleeping with his sister-in-law. I know 2 people that have a beard like Tony Clark. Kyra, if you got it, I'd like to see it one more time just for my own chuckles.
His is a little more well-kept than mine.
So what does that say? You know what that actually says? That says that's a man who looks like he might be trying to hook it with his sister-in-law, and you look like a man who has no interest whatsoever in your sister-in-law.
That's right.
That's
accurate.
Right. That's accurate. I thought so too. I know 2 people with beards like that, and one of them just lost his job for sleeping with his sister-in-law.
That's tough.
Allegedly.
By the way, you brought it up, and I will watch the Cat Williams special. Yes, I am excited about it. I'm excited about his appearance here at FedEx Forum. Maybe somebody can drop me some tickets.
Okay.
We made up some real ground in these Winter Olympics. We're gonna catch Italy. We got 24 medals. They got 25. Norway's running away with this thing. Norway's running away with this thing, and frankly, I guess rightfully so. They've got literal competitions named after Norway. Like, it's, I mean, it is what it is at this point. But we're gaining on Italy, man. We're gaining on Italy.
Okay, see, this is tough for me because, like, there are nights when I just can't pay attention, right? Like last night, I'm in studio all night long. And on Monday night, I had Big Monday. And the Olympics are the type of thing I want to watch with my family, not necessarily watch by myself. So I come in and out of it. Like, I watch everything Thursday night. I watch everything Friday night. Then Valentine's Day, we got things to do. On Sunday, I'm back in it. On Monday, it's Big Monday, so I'm out. Tuesday, I'm out. Wednesday, I'm out. But are we still doing the Olympics coming up this Thursday?
Yes, we absolutely will be. I believe that the closing ceremonies are this weekend or early next week. So, yes, we will be doing it. United States men's ice hockey team, they play today at 2 o'clock taking on Sweden.
Well, good for them. So I'll fly home Thursday, and then that'll be our family time on Thursday night. We'll turn on the Olympics, and we'll learn who these people are and what they're doing together in real time.
Nice.
That's what we did. That's what we did last Thursday night, and I had a blast. So I'm looking forward to Thursday night. I have no idea what's going on in the Olympics right now, but on Thursday, buddy, hey, you want to talk about it on Friday? I'm gonna know everything that went on Thursday night.
Well, Michaela Schifrin just won gold in alpine skiing. She was kind of one of our stars coming into this, so that was good. Good result today. Yep.
Congrats to her. Go USA, and I can't wait for Thursday.
What's the best thing we've read?
So, over at CBSSports.com, Pete Prisco, NFL insider, he's got his list of the top 100 NFL free agents. So if you're a Titans fan or a Cowboys fan or a Steelers fan or whatever, and you want to see who's out there for the getting, you can find it right now. It's on the homepage at CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, I think tomorrow is going to be the day that they call Thursday. So we'll look ahead to Memphis USF. Tigers going to be trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Michael Wallace will join me in the B block. Should be a fun show. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll try to enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.